Hello guys, today I'll be talking about what I think is the worst song off of each Metallica album, and I'll just be focusing on the main studio albums. I won't be talking about any EPs or live albums or compilations or anything like that. I won't touch Lulu either, but again, just going to be focusing on the main studio albums. So let's go ahead and get into it. Keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion, just my personal opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on what you think are the worst songs. But anyways, it all started with Kill 'Em All. With this album, I was kind of going between either Metal Militia or Motor Breath, but with Metal Militia, I really like how thrashy it is and how energetic it is. And yeah, I'd probably gonna have to go with Motor Breath. That is one of the songs that I go back to the least from the album, and to me, it doesn't really do enough to really stand out as much as some of the other songs on the album, but that's just my personal opinion. So yeah, gonna have to go with Motor Breath. Next, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Ride the Lightning, and this is definitely an easy one, and I know an easy one for probably some of you too, and I'm gonna have to go with Escape. For me, musically, not as interesting as the other songs on the album. If I remember correctly, if I'm thinking of the right song, their label or record company wanted them to make a song that's a bit more radio friendly or commercial leaning, however you want to put it, and this is the song that they did or made. And I do like Escape. I even think it's a good song, but it is definitely easily the weakest song on here for me. But yeah, that's it for Ride the Lightning. Let's go ahead and move on to Master of Puppets. So, I'm probably gonna have to go with Leper Messiah. I mean, and I even think Leper Messiah is kind of an underrated song, but that is probably the song that I go back to the least off of Master of Puppets. To me, it doesn't have a strong replay value as the rest of the album. And I can see some fans maybe pointing to a song like The Thing That Should Not Be or maybe Damage Inc., but I actually really enjoy those two songs a lot. So, again, gonna have to go with Leper Messiah, but again, I do like Leper Messiah, though. I do think it's actually a pretty good song, but, I mean, gotta pick a song, gotta pick a worse song, so... And also, gotta be honest, and yeah, I mean, Leper Messiah, good song, but again, probably the song that I return to the least. Next, we move on to Justice for All, and this is actually kind of an easy one for me. I'd probably go with The Shortest Straw. For me, musically, not as interesting as the rest of the album. I mean, I can see some fans maybe pointing to a song like Eye of the Beholder, but I actually like that song, and that's a song that I've actually grown to like more and more with time also. But Shortest Straw, I say it's a pretty good song. I do like it overall, but for me, it's never been one of my favorites off the album. Next, we move on to the Black Album, and my pick might be a bit controversial. I don't know, we'll see, but I mean, I can see some fans maybe pointing to one of the singles because they're overplayed, or some of the singles are overplayed, but I'm actually going to go with one of the deeper cuts. I'm going to go with the song My Friend of Misery. Now, I know this song definitely has its share of fans, and I do like My Friend of Misery. I do think it's a pretty good song, but, I mean, again, gotta be honest here, this is the song that, for me, probably has the lowest replay value out of all the songs on here, for me personally. Of course, it is the song that has a writing credit from Jason Newsted, and a bit of a more melodic song, not as intense as some of the other songs, but again, I do like the song, but it's never been one of my personal favorites. But again, that's just me though. But next, we go ahead and move on to Load. And with Load, I do like this album. I know some people are not a big fan of this time in the band, but again, I do like this time. I mean, definitely not the high point in their discography, but again, I do like Load and Reload. But with Load, I'd honestly go with either Ronnie or Poor Twisted Me. So I know some people are not big on Cure, but or at least for some people, it's one of the weaker songs on here. But I actually like Cure. not one of the best songs on here, but I do like Cure overall. But yeah, probably gonna have to go with Poor Twisted Me. I mean, I've never been a big fan of that song, and honestly, I'd go as far to say that I think it's one of their worst songs. And I also think it has some of James's worst vocals on the album. Oh, Poor Twisted Me. Nah, not a big fan of that. And also, musically, to me, not as engaging or as interesting as the other songs on the album. Definitely one of the duds in their discography for me personally. Again, never been a big fan of Poor Twisted Me. And I know some people don't like Mama Said because it's, it's country or whatever. Excuse me, but I actually don't mind Mama Said. And this has come from someone that really doesn't like country, especially modern country. But Mama Said I actually think is kind of decent. Not one of the best songs on the album, that's for sure. But I do think Mama Said is, again, decent. But yeah, gonna have to go with, again, Poor Twisted Me. But next, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Reload. And with Reload, this is definitely one of their weaker albums, in my opinion. But honestly, I was kind of going between either Attitude or Low Man's Lyric. Those are probably the weakest songs on here for me. But I'm going to have to probably go with Low Man's Lyric. You could maybe say it's the Mama Said of Reload, arguably, but I definitely prefer Mama Said. I'm just not I've never been a big fan of Low Man's Lyric. Never really been a song that's really grabbed me as much as other songs on the album. Also, I feel like the song is maybe a bit too long also. If I remember correctly, it's like around 7.5 minutes long, and yeah, a little bit too long in my opinion. But yeah, one of their worst songs overall, maybe for me. I don't know. I mean, they do have worse songs, but again, never really been a big fan of Low Man's Lyric. Let's go ahead and move on to, of course, everyone can agree, their worst album, Saint Anger. Now, I am one of the fans that do think that Saint Anger is not as bad as some people make it out to be. Still their worst, but again, I do think this album does have some redeeming values. Some songs that I do enjoy, actually. Frantic probably being my favorite on here, but if I had to choose a least favorite off the album, it'd probably be Shoot Me Again. Kind of like with some of the other songs on here, Shoot Me Again is way too long. If I remember correctly, it's a little over 7 minutes long, and this song is definitely guilty of overstaying its welcome. I mean, you have All Within My Hand, which is one of the longest songs on the album, but at least with that song has some riffs that I actually kind of dig, and I actually don't mind the chorus either, but Shoot Me Again definitely has some of the worst vocals on the album, in my opinion, especially with the chorus, with the "Shoot me again, I ain't dead yet." No, not a big fan of that, and there aren't really any riffs in the song that really stand out to me, or any guitar moments, drum moments, and really nothing. I mean, that song just does absolutely nothing for me, and it's definitely one of Metallica's worst songs, at least in my opinion. So yeah, gonna have to go with Shoot Me Again. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to Death Magnetic. This might be an unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, but I mean, because I know this song does have its fans, but for me, it doesn't compare to the first two installments. Of course, I'm talking about the Unforgiven 3. I mean, I like the first two Unforgivens, but the third one, I think is just okay. It's just never been a song that I've gone back to very much. And I know the last time I listened to it didn't really leave much of a lasting impression on me. For me, just not as engaging or as musically interesting as the previous two Unforgivens. And if I have to be honest, it's probably the song that I return to the least off of Death Magnetic. I mean, there are a few weaker songs on here. Cyanide's never been one of my personal favorites, but I do like that song though. But Unforgiven 3 is probably going to have to be my choice. So yeah, for Unforgiven 3 from Death Magnetic. Now to the final album here, or at least the most recent. We got Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I have the deluxe 3 CD version, and I was kind of going between has certain 3 songs: Confusion, Man Unkind, and Here Comes Revenge. I mean, I know some people might point to a song like Murder One, maybe, but I actually kind of like that song. Not one of my favorites. I mean, musically, there are things I like about that song, but with Confusion, of course, it starts off kind of like with Am I Evil, and to me, it kind of sounds maybe a little too similar, at least in my opinion. And I also think the chorus is just okay, or okay to good, not great, nothing to write home about. And then you have Man Unkind, which to me is way too long, and musically, one of the lesser interesting songs on the album. And then you have Here Comes Revenge, which to me feels like pure filler. But if I had to choose which song, I'd probably go with, honestly, Man Unkind. For me, again, musically, not that interesting of a song. And of course, what's interesting and not interesting will, of course, depend on the person, depend on the fan. But for me, Man Unkind has never been a standout to me on the album. It's always been one of my least favorites. And I don't think it's a bad song. I mean, I do somewhat like it. Again, I think it's okay. But for me, definitely one of the weakest songs on here. And yeah, probably, again, going to have to go with Man Unkind off of Hardwired to Self-Destruct. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some or all of my picks here. Let me know some of your favorite or least favorite songs from Metallica and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and take care.